Welcome to Embracing Love. Let's begin with a meditation. Let's close our eyes, start to settle into our bodies, settle into our seats. Feel your feet on the ground, connecting you to the earth. Feel your hips connecting you to your seat. Feel your torso above your hips, head above your torso. Let's take a deep cleansing breath, inhaling to fill the lungs, feeling the chest expand. And then exhale, letting go of the day, letting go of thoughts, relaxing, unwinding. Let's do that again, inhaling deeply. And exhale, allowing all stress to run down out of the body into the earth. Now, I invite you to bring your attention to the center of your body, somewhere right in the middle of your torso, maybe somewhere around the navel chakra, if you're aware of that energy center. If not, it's not too important. Just bring your attention and your awareness to the center of your body, somewhere in your abdomen, torso, between your abdomen and your chest. Now imagine in this center of your body, center of your being, imagine a relaxing, calming, soothing feeling starting right there in the center of your body, starting to spread out throughout your body, radiate out from that point throughout the rest of your body. You can imagine that soothing sensation spreading down into the lower abdomen, to the belly, allowing your stomach to relax, sides, your lower back, the internal organs, the intestine, liver, spleen, kidneys, allowing everything in your core to relax. Notice that calming sensation moving upwards to the lower ribs, sides of the ribs, the back of the ribs, moving up into the chest, allowing the lungs to relax, the heart, the inside, the middle back to relax, the upper back, the shoulder blades, collarbones. Let's roll our shoulders up to our ears, down and back, allowing them to remain soft and relaxed. And feel this relaxation spreading into the shoulders, into the armpits, to the backs of the upper arms, the triceps, into the front, the biceps, sides of the arm, the inside of the upper arm. Let's squeeze those big upper arm muscles and allow them to relax. Feeling this relaxing, soothing sensation spreading down into the elbows now. The crease on the elbows, the inside, the outside, bony tip in the back of the elbow, allowing the elbows to relax completely. Feel this relaxation gradually spreading down into the forearms, those forearm muscles, tender inner forearms. Let's contract those lower arm muscles and allow them to relax completely. Now, notice this calming sensation spreading into the wrists, and the inner wrists, the back of the wrists, the sides of the wrists. Now, the relaxation spreads into the hands, calming the back of the hands, the palm of the hands, the thumbs, knuckles, fingers. Let's wiggle all the fingers, noticing each individual finger from the pinky all the way to the index finger and the thumb. And allow your hands to relax completely wherever they are. Now become aware of this relaxation in your hips, crease in the front of the hips, outside of the hips, the back of the hips. Underside of your hips connecting with the chair. And feel this relaxation spreading into the upper legs, those big quadriceps muscles on the top, the hamstrings on the bottom, outside of the thighs, the inside of the thighs. Let's clench those big thigh muscles and allow the upper legs to relax completely. We'll become aware of soothing sensation spreading down into the knees, to the kneecap, outside of the knee, the inside, the crease, the underside of the knee. Allowing the knees to relax completely. Feeling this relaxation spread down into the lower legs, into calf muscles, shin bone, outside of the lower legs. Let's squeeze those lower leg muscles and allow them to relax fully. Feeling this relaxation spread now down into the ankles, front of the ankles, the insides, outsides, the back, Achilles tendon. Feeling that soothing, calming feeling spread into the heel, the arch of the foot, the ball of the foot, the tops of the feet, down into the toes. Now let's wiggle our toes, becoming aware of each individual toe, big toe, all the way down to the little pinky. And allow the toes, allow the feet to relax completely. Now notice the calming sensation rising from the shoulders up into the throat, sides of the neck, back of the neck. Rising up into the jaw. Let's wiggle the jaw back and forth, allowing the jaw to relax. Feeling the cheeks relax, the lips, teeth, the tongue, nose, cheeks, eyes, eyebrows, eyelids, forehead. Let's scrunch up the face and allow it to relax fully. Feeling the ears relax, back of the head. And feeling this calming, soothing sensation spreading up around the curve of the skull to the very tip, top of the head. Now let's take another one of those deep cleansing inhales in the lungs with that nourishing air. And the exhale, allow relaxation to wash down from the tip of your head all the way down through your torso, through your legs, out through your feet, washing away all stress, all tension down into the. Do that again. Inhaling, fill the lungs. Exhaling, and go, relaxing, calming sensation cascading down the body, washing away anything that doesn't serve you down into the earth. Now let's sit here in this full body awareness for a few minutes. If you'd like to occupy the mind, you can count your inhales, and counting up to 5, and then count your exhales back down to 1. Or you can just sit in stillness, noticing the sounds around you, noticing the sensations in the body, noticing the thoughts in the mind, just allowing all of those to arise into your awareness, then pass away again. Turning once more to stillness. Now, as we're sitting here in this full body awareness, I invite you to bring your hands to your face. Just start to explore your face. Feel your cheeks, feel your nose, feel your lips, feel the line of your jaw. Explore your face. When's the last time you explored your face? Maybe caress it gently. Like you would caress the face of a lover or a child. This is your face. Your face. Maybe start to explore your head, feeling the top of your head, the sides of your head, ears, neck. Explore your body. This is your body. This is your vehicle for this life. You start to explore the shoulders. Just feel how it feels to touch your own body, experience your own body. Collarbones, shoulder muscles, exploring the chest, ribs, sides of the chest, your stomach, abdomen. If you can, withhold judgment about what you think you should be feeling now. Just experience what is there that you're feeling with your hands. Notice your hips, legs, inner thighs, the tops of the thighs, the outsides of the thighs. Feel how it feels to run your hand along your legs, knees, knee, parts of the knee, the lower legs, ankles, the feet. This is your body. No one else's. It's the only body you're ever going to have. And just feel it, appreciate it, notice it. Maybe bring the arms up to your torso. Give yourself a little hug. See how that feels. How does it feel to hug yourself? Feels kind of nice, actually. Feel how comfortable it is to embrace yourself. Squeeze your own body with love, affection. Maybe you want to say to your body, I love you, body. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for allowing me to experience this life, this physical world. I love you, body. Now allow your hands to fall down into your lap. And your body to relax once more. Take another of those deep cleansing inhales. Breathing deeply, filling the lungs. And exhale. Again, relaxing, letting go. If that was uncomfortable for you, exploring your body, allow that discomfort to wash down out of your body now. And then again, inhale in the lungs. And exhale, relaxing, letting go of anything that's not serving you, any negativity at all. Wash down out of your body. We can start to deepen our inhales, bringing our awareness back into this moment, back into the room you're in, back to this video. Open your eyes and join us. That's your body. It's always there. It's one thing we always have, from first breath we take to our last dying breath. One thing we have is this body. So why not appreciate it? Why not love it? Why not enjoy it? Tonight's topic gets kind of strange bringing this up now in this calm, relaxed state. But tonight's topic is about why people are acting like animals and what we can do to act like rational human beings. So I think it goes without saying that when you look out in the world right now, whether that's on the news, social media, or just walking down the street, looking around, things are crazy. People are crazy. The world is crazy right now. We can go into specific examples, but we don't need to do that. We don't need to bring that negativity into the space. I think everyone can agree things are crazy right now. The world is a mess. People are acting like animals. And using this word animals, I'm not using that in any kind of derogatory sense. I mean that literally. People are acting like animals. People are acting purely out of instinct and emotion, out of self-defense, instinctual self-preservation. There's a very simple explanation for this. I think it comes to no surprise to anyone that in the last couple of years, stress levels are rising. It started during the Trump years. Things started getting pretty stressful then. But then when the pandemic hit, when COVID hit, I don't think you don't need studies to show that stress levels have risen. Everyone is under more stress than they were. And there are numerous studies that have been conducted since the pandemic measuring the increase in stress, whether that's from subjective self-reported stress or even laboratory measurements of the stress hormones in the blood. And so in the last few years, just everyone is under more stress. And one of the function of these stress hormones that are circulating at increased levels in everyone's body right now, in everyone's brain. One of the functions of these stress hormones is to inhibit the activity of the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that is responsible for conscious thought, for rational thought, for reasoning, the part of the brain that makes us human, the part of the brain that differentiates us from other animals. It's the prefrontal cortex, the seat of conscious reasoning. And stress hormones, they inhibit the activity of the prefrontal cortex and enhance the activity of areas of the brain like the amygdala, which are responsible for the emotional response to stimuli. And the reason this happens can be traced back to how this stress response evolved in our ancestors who were living back in hunter-gatherer tribes, back when humans were struggling to survive, when everyday existence for our ancestors was a struggle to survive, where every day there was a threat of physical violence leading to death. And in that environment, when we were living a little better than animals, we were just coming together in tribes, starting to develop tools, that's when our prefrontal cortex started to develop. But when we were faced with those stressful, life-threatening situations where we need to physically defend, where when our ancestors needed to physically fight for their survival, whether it's to fight off a predator, a lion in the savannah, or to fight off a rival tribe that's trying to steal their food or mates. In a situation like that, in a physically threatening situation, it's advantageous to shut down the prefrontal cortex, because when action is funneled through the prefrontal cortex, it does slow down reaction time because there is thinking involved, because there's conscious choice to act. And so it does slow down our ability to react and respond. So when we're faced with a life-threatening physical situation, it was evolutionarily advantageous to be able to shut down the prefrontal cortex and to respond with just pure instinctual self-protective responses. It's pure instinct, pure self-preservation, acting like an animal to defend ourselves from other animals. So that's why this stress response developed in the way it did, because it was advantageous for our ancestors to be able, when faced with physical violence and physical threats, to be able to shut down the prefrontal cortex and react physically and violently and rapidly. So that's the legacy of our stress response that we're still dealing with now that we as a species no longer live in that same physical environment. And now our adaptive response is no longer suited for our modern environment. And very rarely do any of us face a physical threat to our being. I mean, sure, there are some circumstances when it happens, but for the vast majority of us on a day-to-day basis, we rarely face physical threats to our body. And yet, when we're stressed, our brains and our bodies still have this same response of shutting down rational thinking in order to be able to respond physically, respond emotionally, respond quickly, like self-protectively, and lash out to save ourselves from life-threatening situations. So even though now the stresses that we face, which still elicit the same stress response because that's how our bodies and brains are hardwired. But the stresses that we encounter in our everyday lives, even though they rarely physically threaten our bodies, we still react with this physical, we're still hardwired to respond with a physical response to shut down conscious reaction, react instinctively. And so when the stress is milder, we're not in that full fight or flight response, the level of stress hormones is smaller. So when we're faced with these low levels of stress throughout our modern lives, it no longer completely shuts off the prefrontal cortex, but depending on the level of stress, there's a corresponding level of shutdown of the prefrontal cortex and our ability to think rationally, think calmly, make conscious decisions. And so in the last few years, as stress levels have risen, everyone's ability to think rationally, think calmly has decreased. So people who, before the pandemic, people who were already stressed and were right on the edge, now with the COVID, they're put over the edge and they're acting, lashing out wildly. And this is where we see these horrible things on the news about people doing horrible things to each other. And just the amount of anger you see in the news, the amount of anger you see on social media, the amount of anger you see just in grocery stores, just walking around out in public. It's because of this toll, this weight of the increased stress, which shuts down our rational thinking and causes us to revert to animals and see everything as a threat and lash out and try to protect ourselves like we're under a threat of physical violence. And so, like I said, the people who are on the edge are now over the edge. People who were doing okay are now on the edge. People who were okay are now, or people who were doing good before are now only doing okay. So as stress has risen across society, across all socioeconomic statuses, everyone's under more stress and everyone is less able to think clearly. So whenever, if you have that feeling, like when you get stressed and it just feels like it's too much, just everything is overwhelming, it just feels like there's too much going on because of all the stress, that's because your ability to think clearly, your ability to take in all this information and process it and react consciously is literally shut down by the stress hormones flooding your brain. And I know maybe perhaps you've experienced this yourself. I know I have experienced situations like this where I get stressed out and I think clearly. I talked a couple weeks ago about the intense experience I went through with the end of a romantic relationship, and I got triggered and I got stressed, and I was not thinking rationally. I was living in this alternate reality, and looking back, I can see how, yeah, it really definitely felt like just that rational part of my brain was just shut off. You know, things even seemed kind of cloudy, and yeah, it's just our ability to act like humans is reduced when we're under a lot of stress. So what can we do about that? How, knowing the effect of stress on our ability to think clearly, the most important thing we can do to counteract that effect is to try to calm down our nervous systems, calm down our body, calm down our brain, try to lower the level of those stress hormones that are coursing through our brain so that we can utilize, so that we can stop inhibiting the activity of the prefrontal cortex and we can start to think rationally, think calmly, make wise, practical decisions instead of reacting instinctively, instead of lashing out self-protectively at any stimulus that we think might be threatening. So calming ourselves down, relaxing ourselves, this is not a luxury, right? This isn't calming yourself down, relaxing, taking care of yourself is not something we can afford to just do when we have time. If we want to make the world a better place, if we want to change the course, the trajectory that our culture, that our society, that our species is on right now, everyone needs to start calming themselves down. Everyone needs to start lowering our stress levels so that we as a collective can start thinking rationally again, start cooperating with each other, start in order to find solutions to these horrific problems that we're facing as a species. Everyone needs to take responsibility for calming down their overactivated nervous system. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity in order for us to survive. And when we're able to calm ourselves down, when we're able to reduce those levels of stress hormones, then we can make wise, rational decisions. We can respond effectively to whatever situation we're in. So how do we do that? How do we calm ourselves down? How do we relax ourselves? How do we reduce the levels of stress hormones that are flooding through our bodies and brains? Well, if you've been watching anything I've been talking about, you can probably guess I'm going to talk about the power of breathing to calm the nervous system. And I want to reiterate, I've talked about this before several times. Breathing, consciously controlling our breath is not some kind of new age, woo, spirituality bullshit. This is physiology. This is an understanding of how our bodies worked, backed by peer-reviewed research. If you want to learn more about this, there's a book I've talked about several times in the past, The Healing Power of the Breath, by two medical doctors, two MDs, two psychiatrists, Richard P. Brown and Patricia L. Gerbag. So it's The Healing Power of the Breath. The subtitle is Simple Techniques to Reduce Stress and Anxiety, Enhance Concentration, and Balance Your Emotions. So again, this is not new age spirituality. This is science. This is medicine. This is a way that we can everyone can directly reduce stress in our bodies, reduce those levels of stress hormones so that we can act calmly and rationally, make wise, useful decisions. So I've talked about this before, but I think it's worth mentioning again. But the reason that breath works to calm down the brain is because there are a whole bunch of nerves that go from the body up to the brain. So the body is constantly giving information to the brain. And this directly influences the state of the activation level, the stress level of the body, the feedback of the brain. So the feedback coming from the body has a direct role on the state of the nervous system. And in particular, the brain pays a whole lot of attention to the information coming from the respiratory system because breathing is so vital for life. We die within, I think, under a minute. Most people will die without oxygen or within a few minutes. So breathing is vitally important to us. And so the brain pays a lot of attention to the signals coming from the nervous system. And when we consciously direct our breath, when we consciously breathe in a slow, relaxed manner, it sends signals to the brain saying the body is calm and relaxed. So in the brain, so that these signals, these calming, soothing signals from the lungs, from the body up to the brain, tell the brain that it's okay to relax. If your brain is getting all this information from the body, that the body is calm and relaxed and breathing slowly, breathing controlled, then the brain starts to figure out, oh, maybe I'm not actually under as much stress as I think I am. Maybe I don't need to keep pumping out all the stress hormones into the brain. But if the body is calm and relaxed and breathing slowly, breathing in a controlled manner, then the brain starts to realize that doesn't need to be so stressed out, doesn't need to keep producing these stress hormones. So breathing is one highly effective technique to directly influence the state of our nervous system, to directly calm and relax the nervous system. And so let's practice that right now. Let's practice an example of calming the body through breathing. Now, if you ever find yourself in a state where you're really triggered, really freaked out, like breathing really scared, really wired, like your heart is pounding, breathing rapidly, a really useful breathing technique in this situation is to try to extend the exhales as long as possible. So I've talked before about one of my favorite breathing techniques is equal inhales and equal exhales. Inhaling to count to 5 and exhaling to count to 5. And that's a good technique for most situations. But if you find yourself in a situation where you're really stressed out, like I said, heart is pounding, you're feeling like a frantic caged animal, that's the time to consciously lengthen the exhales as much as possible. So we can practice that right now. Let's close our eyes, settle into the body once more. Notice your feet, notice your hips, notice your torso. And you can do this when you're freaked out as well. Tap in, connect with the body, ground into the body. Then start to deepen your exhale. So you can take a natural inhale. Then exhale as slowly as possible, lengthening that exhale as long as possible. And when you really drag out the exhale, so you just kind of slowly, almost whistling air out at the end, you'll start to feel in a really long, prolonged exhale, you'll feel the body start to slow down. You'll feel the heart start to slow down. Then when you inhale, it'll speed back up again, things will activate. So take a natural inhale. And again, exhale slowly as possible, lengthening exhale as much as possible. And over time, the exhales will get longer and longer. The heart rate will lower, will keep lowering and lowering. So we can practice that right now. So take a natural inhale. And exhale slowly. And keep exhaling slowly. Just allow it, the exhale to drag out. You feel you become hyper aware of the body. You'll feel the heart slow down. You can't take it anymore. Inhale. Take a natural inhale. Then repeat. Slowing down the breath. Slowing the exhale. Inhale, you feel the urge. Then exhale slowly again. Lengthening the exhale as much as possible. Let's continue this for a few minutes. Just inhaling naturally, taking a long, slow exhale. Even if you're not stressed now, just practice this now and feel the effect it has on slowing down the heartbeat so that when you are stressed, it's a natural, it feels familiar. You know that you can calm yourself down. And over time, you'll notice how those extended exhales do calm the body, triggers the parasympathetic nervous system to lower the heart rate, switch from fight and flight to relax and digest. When you're ready, you can allow your breathing to return to normal. Bring your awareness back into the room, back to this video. So that's just one tool at our disposal to calm ourselves down, to pull ourselves out of the animal state and start acting like conscious, rational human beings. So that's it for our time together today. Hope this has been useful, informative, helpful. So we can all do our part to bring more rational, conscious thinking to the world, to our society. By each of us taking responsibility for our own actions, for our own mental state, calming ourselves down and bringing calm, rational, human thought into our day-to-day interactions. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.